The scream shook the entire mansion. It wasn't the sound of breaking glass or a falling chandelier. It was the cry of two little girls, 2-year-old twins, so loud and full of fear that every guest at the billionaire's party froze. Emily and Emma, the famous billionaire John Carter's daughters, stood at the top of the grand staircase in their bright red and white dresses. Their curls bounced, their faces were wet with tears, and they pointed down the stairs with shaking fingers. At the bottom of the stairs stood Rosa, their maid. She wore her simple black and white uniform, her hands still covered in cleaning gloves, her face shocked and confused. Rosa had worked in the mansion for only 3 weeks, but she had never seen the twins cry like this. In fact, they usually smiled at everyone. But today, the moment they saw her, they screamed, "Daddy! Daddy!" Emily sobbed, gripping her sister's hand. "No! Don't let her go!" Every guest gasped. John Carter rushed up the stairs, lifting both girls into his arms. "What is it? What's wrong?" he asked, his voice shaking. He had seen fear before in business, in danger, but never in his children's eyes. Then Emma lifted her tiny hand, pointed directly at the maid, and spoke the first clear words she had ever said in her life. Words that made Rosa stumble back. Words that made the guests drop their glasses. Words that made John feel his heart stop for a second. Emily whispered through tears, "Daddy, that's the lady from our dreams." And Emma added softly, voice trembling, "She cries alone at night." The entire mansion fell into silence, because the twins had never spoken before, and they had never. Rosa froze where she stood. Her cleaning gloves trembled. Her eyes widened. She looked like someone who had suddenly been dragged into a secret she never wanted to share. The guests whispered among themselves, confused and frightened by the twins' words. John Carter slowly carried the two girls down the stairs. The twins clung to him tightly, their red and white dresses trembling with their tiny bodies. "Girls," John said softly, "what do you mean she is the lady from your dreams?" Emily hid her face in his shoulder. Emma pointed again, her voice barely a whisper. "She cries in a small dark room, and she calls your name, Daddy." Emily sniffed. "She says, 'I'm sorry, I'm sorry,' every night." The crowd fell silent again. Rosa's legs weakened. She held on to the nearest chair for support. Her eyes glistened, but she quickly looked away, ashamed to cry in front of strangers. John turned to her. "Rosa, do you know what they're talking about?" She shook her head quickly. "Sir, I don't understand. I've never seen these children before. I only started working here weeks ago." But her voice cracked, and everyone heard it. The twins reached out their tiny hands toward her, crying harder when she stepped back. Emma sobbed. "Don't leave again," Emily added. "Please don't go back to the dark room." Rosa dropped to her knees, overwhelmed. She pressed her gloved hands to her chest as tears escaped her eyes. "Sir, I swear, I don't know them," she whispered, "but they speak of things that feel real." End quote. John looked at his daughters, then at Rosa. Something strange connected them, something invisible, something deep. He had no answers, but he knew this was no coincidence. And whatever truth waited ahead, it would change all their lives forever. Rosa froze where she stood. Her cleaning gloves trembled. Her eyes widened. She looked like someone who had suddenly been dragged into a secret she never wanted to share. The guests whispered among themselves, confused and frightened by the twins' words. John Carter slowly carried the two girls down the stairs. The twins clung to him tightly, their red and white dresses trembling with their tiny bodies. "Girls," John said softly, "what do you mean she is the lady from your dreams?" Emily hid her face in his shoulder. Emma pointed again, her voice barely a whisper. "She cries in a small dark room, and she calls your name, Daddy." Emily sniffed. "She says, 'I'm sorry, I'm sorry,' every night." The crowd fell silent again. Rosa's legs weakened. She held onto the nearest chair for support. Her eyes glistened, but she quickly looked away, ashamed to cry in front of strangers. John turned to her. "Rosa, do you know what they're talking about?" She shook her head quickly. "Sir, I don't understand. I've never seen these children before. I only started working here weeks ago." But her voice cracked, and everyone heard it. The twins reached out their tiny hands toward her, crying harder when she stepped back. Emma sobbed, "Don't leave again." Emily added, "Please don't go back to the dark room." Rosa dropped to her knees, overwhelmed. She pressed her gloved hands to her chest as tears escaped her eyes. "Sir, I swear, I don't know them," she whispered, "but they speak of things that feel real." John looked at his daughters, then at Rosa. Something strange connected them, something invisible, something deep. He had no answers, but he knew this was no coincidence, and whatever truth waited ahead, it would change all their lives forever. The next morning, after a sleepless night, John made a decision. "Rosa," he said quietly, "I want to run a DNA test." Rosa stiffened. "Sir, why?" He looked at his daughters, still wearing their bright red and white dresses, clinging to Rosa like she was their mother. "Because my children have never reacted to anyone like this," John said, "and because everything they described matches your life." Rosa nodded weakly. "If this will help us understand, I agree." At the hospital, the twins remained glued to Rosa. They cried if she walked too far from them. They held her fingers. They touched her hair. They leaned their faces on her chest like they had known her forever. Nurses whispered. Doctors stared. People wondered how a MAID and billionaire twins could act like a family. The DNA test was taken quickly, but waiting for the result felt like the longest hours of their lives. Rosa sat in a chair, the twins sleeping on each of her shoulders, one on the left, one on the right. John watched them silently. The sight did something strange to his heart, something he didn't understand. When the doctor finally returned, his face was serious. "Mr. Carter, the test results are ready." Rosa held her breath. The doctor looked at them slowly. "Sir, the twins are not biologically related to their mother." John froze. Rosa's eyes widened. The doctor continued. "Mr. Carter, I don't know how to say this, but the twins' biological mother is..." He looked at Rosa. "Her." The maid gasped and covered her mouth. John dropped into a chair, shocked. The twins woke up and hugged Rosa tightly, as if they understood everything. The world spun. Nothing would ever be the same again. John's heart raced as the doctor left the room. He paced back and forth, confused, angry, heartbroken. "This is impossible," he whispered. "My wife gave birth to them. I was there." Rosa held the twins tighter. Tears streamed down her face. "Sir, I don't understand either. But something was always wrong the day my baby disappeared." John swallowed hard. "Sit down, Rosa. I need to tell you something." They sat facing each other, twins on Rosa's lap. "My wife, Ava," he began slowly, "was desperate to have children. We tried for years. Every doctor said she could never get pregnant." Rosa listened, her chest rising and falling. "Then one day," John continued, "she suddenly told me she was expecting twins. She had no tests done, no hospital visits. She refused all scans. She said she wanted everything private." Something clicked inside Rosa's mind. "Sir," she whispered, "what hospital did she go to?" John looked away. "A small private one. Suspicious place. She said it was for privacy, but she banned me from being inside the delivery room." Rosa's voice broke. "Sir, that hospital is where my baby was taken from me." John felt sick. "She paid them," Rosa cried softly. "She paid them to steal a child, to replace what she couldn't have." John covered his eyes with his hands. Oh, God. The truth pierced the room like a knife. Ava, his late wife, had stolen Rosa's newborn twins and claimed them as her own. John looked at the twins, holding Rosa like she was their world. "Rosa," he said softly, "I am so sorry." Rosa shook her head. "Sir, I don't want sorry. I want the truth." "Even pressed," John nodded. "You deserve it, and I promise I will fix this." But fixing it would break his heart in ways he never expected. John brought Rosa and the twins back to the mansion. But now, every step felt heavy. Every room felt different. Rosa tried to smile for the girls, but her heart was breaking. She had lost them once, and now she feared she would lose them again. That night, John knocked gently on her door. "Rosa, we need to talk." She wiped her eyes and opened the door. The twins were asleep in her bed, holding hands. John looked at them with pain in his eyes. "They are your daughters. You deserve to raise them." Rosa shook her head quickly. "Sir, no. You are their father. They love you." "Yes," he said quietly, "but you are their mother." Silence. Rosa's voice trembled. "Sir, I don't want them to grow up without you. I don't want to take them away." John looked down, trying to hide the tears in his eyes. "Rosa, you don't understand. If the truth comes out publicly, your daughters could be taken from both of us. People will think I stole them. Or worse, that you are trying to force yourself into their lives." Rosa stepped back, shaking. "So what do we do?" John swallowed hard. His voice cracked. "For now, you must stay away from them." The words stabbed Rosa's heart. "What? No, please. You can't be alone with them. You can't tell them yet," he whispered. "If anyone finds out too soon, we will lose them." Rosa fell to her knees. Her body shook with silent sobs. The twins stirred in their sleep, as if they felt their mother's pain through the walls. John bent down beside her. His voice broke. "I swear, Rosa, this is not forever. But right now, it's the only way to protect them." Tonight was the saddest night of their lives. Weeks passed. Rosa obeyed John's rules, staying distant, staying silent. She cleaned rooms quickly, avoided the twins, and hid her tears in storage closets. Every night, she cried the same way she had cried in the dreams the twins described. But the twins knew. They always knew. Every time Rosa walked by, they reached for her. Every time she looked away, their faces fell. Something in their hearts pulled them toward her, even if they didn't understand why. One morning, the family gathered for breakfast. Rosa stayed far away, standing near the wall like a shadow. The twins sat at the long table, but they were unusually quiet. They stared at Rosa the whole time. John noticed. "Girls, what's wrong?" Emily suddenly pushed her chair back. Emma followed. Together, they walked straight to Rosa. John froze. "Girls," he said softly, "come back." But they didn't listen. Emily took Rosa's hand. Emma touched her cheek. Then Emma spoke the words that broke every rule. "Daddy, why is Mommy not allowed to hold us?" Rosa gasped. John stood up so fast his chair fell over. "Mommy?" he whispered. Emily nodded. "Yes, that's our Mommy. Our heart says so." Emma hugged Rosa's leg. "Don't make her sad again." Rosa burst into tears, dropping to her knees as the girls wrapped their little arms around her neck. John's heart cracked open. The truth was out. And not by adults, but by the children themselves. The door opened suddenly. John's mother had arrived for a visit. She saw the scene, saw the twins calling Rosa Mommy, saw Rosa crying, saw John frozen in shock. "What is happening here?" she demanded. John finally spoke, voice shaking. "Mom, it's time you know the truth." John told everything. His mother sat down slowly, eyes wide, heart pounding. "So, Rosa is their real mother?" John nodded. "Yes, Mom, and I didn't know. Ava lied to me, to everyone." Rosa hugged the twins tightly, afraid someone would take them away again. But instead, John's mother walked over and knelt beside them. She gently wiped Rosa's tears. My son was fooled, she said softly. But you lost the most. I'm so sorry. Rosa sobbed harder. Emily and Emma hugged her cheeks, whispering, Don't cry, Mommy. John stepped closer. His voice was low, sincere. Rosa, I want to do what's right. For you, for the twins, for all of us. Rosa looked up, frightened and hopeful at the same time. What do you mean, sir? John knelt beside her, placing his hands on the girl's shoulders. You don't have to be their maid anymore, he said softly. You can be what you truly are, their mother. You can live here, raise them, love them. Rosa covered her mouth. Sir, I don't know what to say. And, he added gently, you won't raise them alone. Rosa blinked, confused. John smiled softly, shyly, genuinely. I want to help you. I want to be part of their life, part of your life. Not because of the past, but because of the future. Rosa stared at him, speechless. The twins shouted happily, We want both of you! John's mother clapped her hands, tears in her eyes. Then it's settled. This family starts today. Rosa finally smiled, a real smile, bright and full of hope. She pulled John into a hug with the twins between them. For the first time in 2 years, she felt whole, complete, home. And the billionaire's mansion, once full of secrets, became a place of healing, truth, and a brand new beginning. The twins had cried the first day they saw the maid, but now they laughed because they had finally found their mother.